Hello, my friends. What a day in the history. The attack on Ukraine. And I felt like I have to do some reading to calm you down a little bit, because I know it is horrific what's going on, but I want you to know that Putin will try not to kill civilians. Okay, but first I will say that on Sunday I will have a guest on my channel, Nina from Nina's Corner. I don't know why I said Tina. And it will be on the 27th, so I will be posting in the morning video with her. We will do Zoom meeting, so please look for that one. She's a wonderful young lady from Alberta. We met 2 times. She was visiting my store. So, and she's very energetic, very entertainer. And she has her YouTube channel, so you can check Nina's Corner Tarot. Okay. And I will pull cards. I don't think I will have too many questions, because I just want to give you some of my feelings that Putin wants to feel like a Tsar. He wants to get to the history as a Tsar of Russia. He wants to reunite the country again, because Mr. Gorbachev, when he turned down the wall, he let a lot of those republics go free. And Belarus, Ukraine, we say this, Litva, Latva, and Estonia in Polish. So Lithuania, Latva, and Estonia. Sorry, I have to say in Polish so I can translate to English. And I'm worried that they might be, mark my words, they will be the next casualties on his list. He's not going to stop on Ukraine. And in his mind, he thinks that people will be welcoming him. They are afraid of him. Of course, the power that he was showing to the whole world, how much more power he has than Ukraine and even any country in Europe. I'm from Poland, and I'm worried what will happen if he will decide to go after Europe, after Poland first, because that will be the next country that he will be probably trying to cross the borders. Now there will be a lot of people who will be running from Ukraine. Mostly young people will be running away, because they were born in a free country, or they grew up in a free country. Maybe they were born before the country had the freedom, but they were growing up in a free world. So they wouldn't like to, they don't want to stay, and they don't have the something that is, you know, the roots. Like if they are free, they don't have children, and they are educated, they will be trying to get away from Europe, from Ukraine. We have a huge immigration in our little city, Red Deer, so of Ukrainians who were lucky to come to work, and then they apply for citizenships, and they got it because they are really nice citizens. I don't want to miss anything, and it's like last minute video. I was shuffling the snow, and Sherry was my girlfriend. Are you going to calm people down? And then I talked with a young man today, and he said that I'm calming you guys sometimes. So I just want you to know that there is not like a war, the Second War, when Hitler attacked Poland, and there was a lot of people killed. I have the feeling that maybe I will. Ambassador of Ukraine, the woman, was talking today that all people will be fighting. And I close my eyes, will they be really fighting, everyone? And I saw a symbol of partisans, like a forest. So I think a lot of people will be partisans. And so that will be the ones who wouldn't run away, but the ones who will be still wanted, who will want to put the damage to Russians. But I don't see that big opposition. And Marshal Law is in Ukraine. They didn't say what kind of martial law. When I was in Poland and they make martial law in December 13, 1981, we couldn't leave the house around, I think first it was 8 o'clock. So you were stuck. And even to go to emergency, you had to phone for permission to emergency that you are bringing. At that time, we had to bring our child who hit his head, and we had to take him to emergency. So yes, it is. He was jumping on our laps, and then he ended up hitting on one of the bars. So I was holding with my mouth his forehead, and my husband was phoning the emergency so they will let us to go with the child to emergency. You know, in the horrific moment, you can't really go by yourself. You have to go ask a permission. It is horrific. And the cyber attacks already are in progress in banks in Ukraine. Putin as well disconnected Zelensky. He has no access to connect with his generals. He is not able to perform his duties because he is so powerless. And people are waiting in the banks to pull the money, withdraw the money, and there are no money enough. And the lineups. Oh gosh, I remember those lineups when we were for a few years living in Poland under martial law. I was lucky that I was able to move to Canada at that time, after 4.5 years, and my husband before me. But it was... And I think Putin will give them stamps so they can buy food, just small amount, like 1 kilogram of sugar per person. And it's not too much, you know. It was not for a baby, but you want to make juices, and if you want to bake, you were saving. And people were coming to visit you with the coffee, with their own coffee and own sugar. So it was my father-in-law. He said, I can't be every day in your house with a coffee. So he was bringing once in a while a coffee because he was coming every day to chat with me when our son was born. And he said, I have to bring coffee with me and sugar. It was normal. And Putin said that he is not going to occupy Ukraine. So I closed my eyes, as I usually do, and I saw a symbol. When I was living in England, I started bleaching my hair. And one day I noticed a beautiful new product. A really nice ad, the hair. I thought, oh, what a perfect color, I want that. It was blonde on the cover. When I did, I was red. And I went for a party that day, red as I can be, like, and I right away started washing off. Didn't help. And the lady who organized the party, she's wearing a turban. It is middle of the 70s. Turbans were very much in style. And she's looking at me and she said, "Did you buy that? Blah, blah, blah." I said, "Yes." And she said, "Okay, I can show my hair too." She was red too. And that's what I'm feeling. He's not going to occupy the country. He is going to make a threat. So he is including the country in his on his domina, and it's not occupation. They are part of Russia, no way out. And people are not prepared for what was coming. That's unusual. You are always surprised, yes. I know that. I remember the morning when we woke up, it was December 13, 81, middle of the winter, cold day, Sunday. And of course, we were starting to day off. We were starting with TV, no channel, nothing. I told my husband, check if there is a phone. And he said, "Why?" I said, "Check it out." I knew right away. That's what's going on if we don't have access to TV. And so later, the TV started giving us music, calming music, like Bach, Beethoven, something that will calm you down. And to this day, I always feel when I hear that kind of music that it was propaganda. Calm people down, that nothing is happening. And then General Jaruzelski told us it's a martial law. And I just want you to understand what is going on in those people's minds. It's good that you guys didn't choose Trump. If Trump will be today as a president, he will be cheering up to Putin and telling him, "Go to the rest of the Europe. I'm with you. I will go after Mexico." Because he's saying that. He is programming himself that will be a great. For those sanctions, they are worth $2, he said. And Putin is a genius. And I have one lady who is telling me that Putin is so wonderful and Trump too, so somehow I dismiss her. Not going to put up with those trolls. You have to remember, most Ukrainians don't have a car. And when there is a martial law, you are allowed to buy 30 liters. That was in our situation. We had a very small Fiat 126. And we were allowed to buy 30 liters per month, per car, not per person, per car. So my husband was getting from his company. He was working for Swedish company, so he was lucky because they want him to drive quite a far away outside of our city. But that was later on. At the beginning, was really bad. He was working for the Polish company, and there was no excuse that they will give us any gas or anything. And so the telephones are disconnected. And internet is disconnected. And if the leader is not able to communicate with his generals, most people are living in apartments. Big apartment building. Elevators are hardly functional. You have to walk sometimes 7-8 10 floors up. There's always some problems with elevators, always. And the families of, usually the apartments, 1-bedroom apartment, bedroom is living room. They are sleeping in those living rooms. So 1 bedroom is 1 living room and kitchen and bathroom. 2 bedrooms are for the family. 3 bedrooms, it's a luxury. So 3 rooms, not bedrooms, 3 rooms. And the families are usually multi-families, like 3 generations of families. Grandparents, parents, and children. Those people don't know where to go. They are suffering and they want to leave us alone. They want to just live in peace. Car owners. Oh, that's luxury. Most of people my age don't have a driving license. A lot of them, yes, they do. They owned businesses and they were trying the best because we were young when everything started. But a lot of my sister-in-law lives in Poland. She doesn't have a driving license. My aunt never did. So, you know, that's one thing. When you have to go to the grocery store, the big ones are outside of the city, so you need a car. The small ones are the corner store. It's not much. It's 2 times as big as average living room, or 3 times. And they sell milk, butter, flour, blah, blah, blah. People are in small apartments. They can't really have a big storage to put food in advance. They don't have cool rooms. They don't have pantries usually. So it is hard to survive when you don't have those big houses or gardens. The gardens people have, but they have to drive to the gardens. My father-in-law, he loves to gardening. So when he was alive, he had a little garden outside of the city. He had to drive there on a bicycle. Even he was CEO. He'd never bought a car. So, and he was CEO in a computer company. That's the truth about generation ahead of us. And most of the corner store will be bought out as fast as you can look at it. Only vinegar was left on the shelves that time. Border to Poland is open, so a lot of young people from Ukraine will be running to Poland. Polish people said that they will welcome everyone and they will be not doing even tests, but everyone who will come will have to go for quarantine. Sounds fair. So that way they are not telling people to go away. The flights are disconnected, no flights over Ukraine, over Belarus, because the Belarus was already suspended a few months ago when they took that young journalist, Roman, whatever his name is, they arrested him. So that's was protest from the West that they were punishing them from letting to be a fly zone. Now it's Ukraine that is not fly zone because of the unsafety. So Putin is happy about immigration, that will cause disorder in Europe. He wants that. He wants to have revenge on people. And they say, I heard Zelensky saying that he wants people to stock on foods. How can you stock on foods when you can only carry 2 bags when you are standing for a few hours on a lineup, and you can buy whatever is there? Most people don't have the cash. The poor are really getting squeezed. So we have to feel, I want you to know how it is over there, because I don't think media is giving you that perspective from someone who went through that. Yeah, we had only one day in a month that I could buy a meat. For the baby, there was really good meat. He got a little stamp so I could cook as many soups as I could cook from that much of a meat for the baby for a month, like 1 pound, I think. And for adults was 1.5, and whatever was there, because that day you had the number and it was posted on the window from this number to this number. And once I went and my number was last, it was not included. So I had to again wake up. My father-in-law was the nice guy who went at 5 o'clock in the morning, stand up on the line. So he will get that day the best staff, because the later you come, and if you are working, you couldn't come in the morning. There will be meat, but there will be yucky one. So he was going. I was breastfeeding my son that time, so he wanted me to stay as long, and then I had to come with my ID, with my number, and with the stickers. Those stamps were priceless. The one thing good about those stamps was that I was allowed to have a bottle of vodka for myself and 2 packages of cigarettes per month. Well, I'm not a drinker, I never was. But I learned how to do honey-do list, and I was drawing a bottle of vodka on the bottom, and I was telling my husband, you want those things, you can have the stickers for the... Well, you have to live what you have. So if you have lemon, you have to make a lemonade. I don't see the army putting too much resistance. That's my point. I don't see that. They know that they are outpowered. So maybe there will be, but then there will be more casualties. And I maybe don't want to see that. The partisans will end up in the prisons, I said, and he will put them to Gulag somewhere in middle of the Russia. Okay. Not easy reading for me, and I hope the good thing is that he doesn't want to kill the civilians. So we have to hope for the best. Yeah, he's outnumbering them. So we can't sometimes win, and those people can't win. I'm very sorry to deliver you that kind of messages. I know you want to feel optimistic. There will be partisans, they will be fighting, but they will be in trouble. Now it's so easy to trace everyone because of the phones. And the cyber attacks will be horrific all over the world. He will punish every country that will be standing up against him. And like Trump said, the punishment that he is getting, it's $2 worth it. I'm glad that Biden has a calm head and he is not saying crazy things, and he is trying his best to achieve as much as possible. Okay, and I will give you a remedy. Oh, I want to remind you that I have a WhatsApp now, so if someone would like to book appointment instead of phone, you can go on WhatsApp. So we can chat on WhatsApp for the bookings. And thank you for your kind donations, for watching me, for subscribing to me, and letting me know that I'm needed. I told my husband, you might not have a dinner today, but I feel like I have more important things. So, because I have few other things to do. And remedies for February 24. If someone has fungus infections, especially on babies, they have that white thing on the tongue when they are just born, and when they are drinking the mother's milk, it's so painful for them to drink because their tongue is so white. My mother put a very clean cloth, like cheesecloth, in the diaper, and she said, when you will know that it's wet, it's freshly wet. It was a long time ago. I had to wash we didn't have the disposable diapers. I had to wash them. So when it's wet, hot, it's fresh. So she said, take that, put on your finger, and move in the baby's tongue. That urine from the baby, it's killing the bacteria, the fungus, the yeast that is causing fungus around the tongue, and it was wonderful cure, free of price, and it was working like magic. So any mother or grandmother who wants to give advice to someone who has a new baby, that's a great thing. My girlfriend just became a grandmother. I have to tell her. And that's another fungus that is growing. Is the yeast infection on the feet, between the toes. And old remedies, even for soldiers. Pee in your shoes. They are more comfortable after that. But as well, put half cup of vinegar and in a very warm water bowl that you are putting your feet to dissolve in that composition and that mixture, hot water and half cup of vinegar or more. And then dry it. Don't wash it under clean water. Just let that vinegar to do the job, and it will work. You can pee as well. Golden shower, as Trump was asking for. And pregnant women. When I was pregnant, my gynecologist told me every woman is predisposed to have yeast infection in the private area. So to not to have it, pee in the bathtub or add vinegar, 1 glass of vinegar once a week when you are once a week, not every bath, but once a week. Put that vinegar in the bathtub. It will do the job. And my sister-in-law came from Germany, and she said, I have always yeast infection after yeast infection. I said, that's the easiest way to get rid of it. Instead of buying creams or tablets or whatever, just put the vinegar. So that's for you. I want to do the prayers for peace. Peace in the world. No casualties. And hope that Putin will not get away with it. That he will be dismissed some way by his oligarchs. I have the feeling, and I said that those people will be angry at him. They don't care for one more country on the list. They want to live now, and they want to have a good life, like they did for the last 20, 30 years. So they don't want to be stopped for entering Europe, stop to have the bank accounts will stop. So we just can hope that one of them will do the job. Sorry. So I want to send a good energy to every Ukrainian, every country that will be involved in that disaster time, and all of you that you wouldn't have to pay the prices. I think all of us will have to, but it's not as bad. Please stay safe and stay in peace of your mind. Bye bye.